Good evening. The legalization of marijuana in Canada is quickly approaching. Alberta and Saskatchewan are looking at regulatory framework to have in place before July. While some of that is complete, there's more information needed before Lloydminster has its own regulations conform. Josh Ryan has more.
Both the Alberta and Saskatchewan governments have indicated that cannabis dispensaries will be privatized. Now, the City of Lloydminster awaits March 10th, where they expect one last word from Saskatchewan on how to proceed.
We expect that they will be bringing forth some regulation and information that will assist us in formulating the last of our requirements to meet the provincial government regulations.
Local businesses are watching this closely as well.
With us being a major center in between two large centers. It's kind of like, an outpost in the middle here. So without a dispensary, that's really a lack of availability for recreational product for people.
Both governments have also indicated that regulations will have some similarities with those for tobacco and alcohol, but Albers says he's unwilling to establish dispensaries in Lloydminster until they have the full picture.
There's some factors that we want to make sure we do absolutely correctly, and we're working on that diligently. But again, I go back to until the province clearly lays out the rules that they're providing, our laws are always trumped by provincial law.
That is why businesses like How We Roll are also being patient, as they could be affected by several factors such as zoning bylaws.
If our zoning was appropriate, then it would definitely be something to consider, but with our close proximity to a school, it might not be feasible.
Ahead of March 10th, Council will continue to discuss this issue in depth.
I believe we have some information, some folks coming to speak to it to Council in a public presentation, as well as Council will be bringing a resolution forward before the end of the month.
We start with some breaking news right now. In the courtroom in Battleford, a jury has ruled Gerald Stanley has been found not guilty in the murder of Colton Boushie, and that's again just coming in now. We will have more details later next week.
This is Newcap weather.
So another day that we've had to deal with these minus 30 wind chills. It's come par for the course, but at least it has kept the snow out of our area, pushed it south of the international border, and those areas to the west of us and southern Alberta still recovering, still shoveling out there. Let's see what the numbers have done with us during the course of the day. Minus 16 is where we're at the moment. Does still feel like minus 26. So if you factor in that during the course of the morning at about 4 o'clock even, we had minus 30 wind chills. We've only moved 4 degrees all day in terms of what it really feels like. And that about sums it up. Minus 13 in Cold Lake. They were at minus 12 in the last hour and minus 16 in the Battlefords. Partly cloudy conditions, yes, some cloud cover pushing across the region. The Battleford's enjoying a lion's share of the blue skies today. As we open it out, minus 12 at Lac La Biche, minus 19 in St. Paul, minus 17 for Vegreville, Edmonton, minus 19 as well for Vermilion, Wainwright, minus 18 in Provost to Macklin areas, minus 17 for Maidstone, St. Walburg, and minus 15 out to Green Lake. And further south, still recovering, Lethbridge at minus 19, minus 23 at Medicine Hat, minus 15 in Calgary, minus 13 in Banff. Contrast that with Regina at minus 17, Moose Jaw minus 19, and Kindersley minus 18. We'll bring more details. We're aiming, for at least the minus single digits for tomorrow, but there's some more cold air around yet. We'll bring those details later in the show.
All right, still to come, why you should or shouldn't invest in RRSP'S. That's next.
When you see news happening, let us know. Grab your phone and hit record and become part of the Newcap News team. It could make you $100 richer. If you capture news happening, drop us an email at tvnews@newcap.ca.
Well, we're heading into tax season and along that, RRSP season. For many Canadians, this is the time of year that can be financially stressful and worrisome, with some deadlines quickly approaching, including the deadline for those RRSPs.
If you want to contribute to your RSP, the first thing you have to ask, is this contribution to my RSP minimize my tax? If it's not, then don't do it.
Contributing to an RRSP can be a great way to plan for retirement, but along with that, there are plenty more benefits available. It's just up to Canadians to find them.
Canada is one of the best country and lots of strategies, but nobody from the government knock on your wood and, hey, these are the strategy. So yeah, like people just have to be financially educated.
For more information, you're encouraged to talk to your financial advisor about options fit for you. Well, sustainable land practices are the backbone of farm management, and there's funding available to secure the spaces that produce our food. As Gerard Lampau finds out, the deadline to apply is fast approaching.
They came to us and asked if we needed help, and we did. Our riparian areas were very, very poor, and we had no financing to address that.
One aspect of this work is that landowners get paid for wetland restoration. So if you've got a wetland that's been drained, damaged or altered, you can get in touch with the Vermilion River Watershed Alliance.
In terms of applying, they can either go online. Our website is vrwa.ca, and they can download both the application guide, which provides information about the program, as well as an application. And applications are due March 15th.
Mara Erickson has a background in wildlife ecology. She has transitioned to watershed management in the last 2 years.
The applications will go to a selection committee, and they'll look over them and examine them for feasibility and eligibility. We want to have projects selected pretty quickly, within a month or month and a half, and get that application approval out to the landowner by early May.
Tim Axe is an organic producer in Clandonald. He practices regenerative farming, where over time his operation is rebuilding topsoil and allowing the biodiversity of the land to sustainably support his livestock and vegetation. The program gave him over 4,000 trees for riparian areas, as well as over 2 miles of fencing. Riparian areas allow filtration of the water and acts as a buffer zone.
80% of all wildlife spends at least all or part of its life in a riparian area. And there's only close to 4% of the land mass in Alberta that has riparians in it.
Gerard Lampau, Newcap News.
Well, Weddings on the Border is planned for tomorrow in Lloydminster, and performer Blake Reed takes to the stage at the Vic Juba Theatre this weekend. Heather Clegis has all the details in this week's edition of What's Happening.
Tomorrow, Weddings on the Border takes place at the Lloyd X grounds. The trade show runs from 11 a.m. until 6 p.m. and they've got a couple of features of the show this year. At 1 o'clock in the afternoon, they have a Savvy Bride session, and then they've got a fantastic fashion show at 6 o'clock tomorrow evening. Plus, they're going to hand out over $11,000 worth of prizes, and they've partnered with the Marwayne 4-H Beef Club, so you'll be supporting them as well. Tomorrow night on stage at the Vic Juba Community Theatre, it's the Blake Reed Band. And Blake, born and raised on a family farm in Alberta, so the music is a little bit country, a little bit folksy, a little bit rootsy, a little bit bluegrass, but a whole lot of great music with some great stories to tell as well. The show gets underway tomorrow night at 7:30. If you want to get tickets, you can go online, vicjubatheatre.ca. We want you to start your weekend by winning, so we've got a copy of Sam Smith's latest album, The Thrill of It All. It includes the hit Too Good at Goodbyes. If you want to win a copy, all you have to do is email your name and daytime phone number to tvcontests@newcap.ca. We want to say thanks to John at Universal Music Canada for setting us up with the music. And if you want to hear some fun music or maybe help make some great music, coming up on Sunday at the North Bend Hall, they're hosting their next jam session. Things will get underway at 1 o'clock. Well, whatever you choose to do this weekend, I hope you have a great one. I'm Heather Clegis, and that's what's happening.